All right, here on number 23, this division problem um, is going to be a little bit, well, we're factoring, so we're going to need to divide by uh, one of the factors because we're given the root here of 3. But what you should notice is that each of these terms is divisible by x, and that's going to be the first thing we want to do is factor out an x. So we're going to rewrite this equation as x times the quantity x cubed, because x to the fourth divided by x is x cubed, plus 5x squared, because 5x cubed divided by x is 5x squared, plus 8x, because 8x squared divided by x is 8x, minus 96, because negative 96x divided by x is negative 96. And close that parentheses, and it equals 0. So actually, we've already found that another one of our factors must be 0. And now what we're going to do is we're going to divide this by x minus 3 because one of our roots is 3. So we have x minus 3, and we're dividing that into x cubed plus 5x squared plus 8x minus 96. And so x times x squared is x cubed. X squared times a negative 3 is negative 3x squared. Subtracting 5x squared minus a negative 3x squared is 8x squared. And bring down that 8x. Now we have to multiply x by 8 to get by 8x, to get 8x squared. And then 8x times negative 3 is negative 24x. Subtracting, we get 8x minus a negative 24x is positive 32x minus 96. X times 32 is 32x. Then 32 times negative 3 is negative 96. And we subtract, and we get 0. So now we can rewrite our equation one more step further along the way. We have x, that's from this right here, and then we're going to multiply that by the quantity x minus 3, and then we're going to multiply that by the quantity x squared plus 8x plus 32. Now, when I look at this, I think, can that be factored? And it cannot. So I'm going to use the quadratic formula on this. So I have A is equal to 1, B is equal to 8, C is equal to 32. X equals negative B, negative 8, plus or minus the square root of B squared, 8 squared, minus 4 times A times C, all over 2A. And under that square root, I have 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 32. And that turns out to be x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus the square root of negative 64 over 2. And at this point, this should look like a complex numbers problem from last unit. So we have x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus. The square root negative 64 is 8 because 64 square rooted is 8. I over 2. Well, that equals negative 4 plus or minus 4i. All right. So that means that we could rewrite this equation in this way. X times the quantity x minus 3 times the quantity x minus negative 4 plus 4i and x minus negative 4 minus 4i. And that would be, and that's equal to 0. And that would be completely factoring this equation. Now, this is kind of an unusual way to write it. This is more common. But I wanted to go through that process so that you could see that we get two